Well, tubers, tubettes, and my colorful collection of crazy people. We are here to do two things. Number one, shamelessly promote another channel, as we're notorious for. So what's the name of your channel, pal?
Mike's Philippine Retirement.
Mike's Philippine Retirement.
Even I forget the name sometimes.
Yeah. And so, anyway, that being said, we're going to talk to Mike today because Mike has lived here 1 year.
1 year, February 21st was our 1 year. So.
Okay. So what I want to do is kind of a 1 year review. And the good news is Mike and I just kind of met each other. And I don't know much about him. So we'll just find out together, shall we? All right, so here we go.
I had a lot of secrets,
What was your motivation to come here?
Girls.
Girls. Was it really?
Really.
Okay.
I tell everybody it's cost of living. It was, the cheap housing, the good food, the weather, retirement. But I was alone for 10 years in the States. Couldn't find a good girlfriend. Didn't live with the only woman I lived with was my mom for a little while. So the women here are beautiful. Talked to them online. I was married to a Filipino. Somebody doesn't like Paul, throwing chairs at him. And was married to an American Filipina, and she was beautiful. And I loved how she lived her life and her friends. So girls.
All right, so how long were you single? 10 years?
Well, I was single for more than 10 years without a wife. Yeah, without a wife in the States. But I didn't have a steady girlfriend for 10 years.
Okay, all right. So your primary objective over here was to meet a significant other.
To settle down with some girl and have a relationship and have an enjoyable, peaceful end to my life, the end of my retirement.
And so you've met Janet, who is a very, very nice woman. How long have you guys been together?
9 months now.
9 months. And how is that going?
It's going great.
Okay.
You can ask her, she'll tell you.
Okay.
She'll lie to you and tell you it's fabulous.
Yeah, that poor woman.
Yeah.
Anyway, so it's going good for him. Janet, not so much.
She's left. She's left the building.
I got a question for you. Do you have any plans to go back to America, or are you going to just stay here in the Philippines?
My plans is to live in the Philippines forever, but I do plan one more visit to the States to tidy up my banking, work on my phone. I have no access to the States now.
Okay.
Get a new SIM card and, say goodbye to my mom. She's still alive, and, hopefully she outlives me.
Okay.
But she's in her late 80s.
All right, so that leads me to two questions. Number one, what would you say to guys that are having sort of guilt or separation anxiety because they're leaving loved ones behind? In your case, it's your mother. Mm-hmm. There's other guys that have left their kids or brothers or sisters. Did you have any of those issues? Was
No.
your mother supportive of it?
She knew what I wanted to do. In her 60s, she traveled through Europe and Egypt. So she understood me wanting to go enjoy my retirement. Friends and family, you're always going to miss them, but everybody's living their own life. You see them on the holiday, you see them for a couple of days here or there. No remorse on coming here or regrets leaving anybody behind, because 90% of the time I was by myself.
Okay. All right. I've chatted with a number of guys online that are wanting to come out here, but due to their own motivations, they're staying with their mother or their father who's elderly because they want to help take care of them and they don't want to leave them in their last years, which is fully understandable. So I just wanted to get your take on that.
Yeah.
And that is pretty much your mom's good with it?
She's good. She was staying with other family members when I left. Since then, she's gone into assisted living, which she's really happy with.
Okay.
She sold her property. She's okay financially, and my other brothers are close by, so I feel comfortable in that situation.
Okay, so your plan is to go back, take care of some stuff, wrap it up, and then come back here.
Yes, and my stay is going to be less than a week. I'll fly into LA and I'll try and do everything in Nevada or New Mexico that I need to get done, and then come back.
Okay. So there was no opportunity for you, or you felt there was no opportunity in the States as far as a romantic?
No, I gave it every opportunity. Even the last 2 years when I planned to come to here, to the Philippines, I already had my ticket. I said if I did meet the right girl and the situation evolved, I would stay in the States. But it never happened. COVID made it worse to meet anybody. And you gotta realize at our age we're set in our ways, and the women are set in their ways. They don't want to leave where they're living. They don't want to change to be with you. You either have to fit into their lifestyle, their neighborhood, their family, or it's not going to work.
And what is the dynamics with you and Janet?
Well, Janet's a single mom,
Okay.
31. She has a 10-year-old boy. He lives with us, of course.
Okay.
And we're close to her family. They're a couple kilometers away. And we're serious about each other. We have a great relationship. We joke around, we argue, we throw knives at each other at times, but the dynamics, she's everything in my life. If an emergency comes up, she knows how to get the money to get me to the hospital. She knows where all the bank cards are. She knows where all the paperwork is. She's fully vested in me emotionally. I'm fully invested into her emotionally and financially. I've made that commitment to take care of her. And it's not a burden. It's just something you do as a man. You accept that and take care of it.
How did you meet her?
Online, silly enough. But not as everybody's going to think online. I moved to Dumaguete, and I was alone in the apartment I had. So I started going through Facebook, the suggested friends that they give you. And she was there, and she went to the high school that was right across the street from the apartment I lived in. So I contacted her. And after nudging her for a week, getting her out of her shyness, she was scared to meet me. I finally had to go out into the middle of the street when she was driving by in her motorcycle, and I'm texting her, "Is that you?" And she's going, "Yeah, but I have to go home." I go, no, stop. And grab her and take her into the apartment, show her where I live. And we've been together ever since.
How's the dynamic with her son? Is it her son?
Son is complicated at times.
How so?
It's entitlement. I feel sometimes he thinks he's entitled now because, he has a foreign stepfather, whatever you want to call me,
Okay.
mother's boyfriend. And, I buy him nice, when he needs shoes, I bought him shoes. I bought him a new helmet, bought him a cell phone. And when we have dinner, we have nicer food than probably did before I met them. And it's, the dynamics is, I'm not his father.
Right.
I'm not his friend. So how does he obey my rules? How far can I take it, punishment-wise?
How do you handle that?
Well, we had a blowout. To be honest with you, we had a blowout once. He did something really stupid. I'm not going to details what it was.
No.
But I had him live with his grandmother for a month.
And Janet was okay with that?
Yeah, she would go up there every day. Like I said, it was close. Janet still took him to school, brought him back. She knew what he did. And we both agreed 30 days was a good punishment.
Good little probation.
Yeah, and then come back, show a little bit more respect for the household. I'm not his father, but it is my house. There are rules, and I'm an elder. He should be respecting, what I want done in the house. And it's not like we're having him be a slave in the house and do a lot of work.
Right.
We want the schoolwork done right, and just a few things. I don't like him arguing with his mother, but.
It is a weird, I haven't given that a lot of thought, to be honest with you. But how the discipline or what your role is when you meet a woman, I understand it when you meet somebody and the baby's 2 years old.
Yeah.
That's fairly easy. And you stay together
Right.
for the rest of your lives. For example, now the kid's going to grow up with you and you really will be dad to them.
Yeah.
But you're walking, that's an interesting thing, a 10-year-old. And so, do you guys like each other, or are you kind of combative, or?
Not anymore. We like each other.
I mean, I had the blowout. But.
Yeah, but he knew what he did was wrong. And now he gets up in the morning. It's good morning. When he comes home from school, good evening, sir. And he eats with us, and he shares the television. He'll want to watch cartoons, and I want to watch the news or something. I know to give him his time in the house. But like I said, we got him his own phone. We got him a gaming chair so he can sit in his room, do his homework, and feel special, because he is special. He's my partner's son, and to her, he is number one, and I'm number two, the way it should be. So I want him to feel that way. But he's still a 10-year-old boy. How bad were we when we were 10 or 11 years old?
Oh, I was brutal.
Yeah, I know that. But you know, the hard part, if you're talking about a kid, if you're coming
Yeah.
over here with a
Yeah, yeah.
10, 11-year-old, you got to remember, they've lost 2 years of schooling. So you got a kid that's in 5th grade. He's only gone to school through 3rd, and now he's in 5th grade. And Janet's situation, that she was a working mother, working 10, 12 hours a day, 6 days a week, he fell behind in his school, like a lot of kids here.
Sure.
So you're going to spend a little bit of money on tutors. You're going to
Okay.
spend a little bit more time trying to educate them. Janet's going to spend much more time with them over the homework than you would a child in the States at 10, where they can go do their own homework. Here he needs help. And they learn 3 languages in school. They learn Tagalog, they learn Visayan, and English. Their classes are taught in 3 languages. And so it's hard. I couldn't do it. And his English has fallen behind. So you will have a gap in the English because they haven't learned English yet.
I got a question for you. Does he go to public school or a private school?
Public school at this time.
Okay. Have you investigated private schools?
Yes, I
Are
thought
they
of that as
expensive, or what's the deal?
the private schools that Filipinos go to are a lot of foreigners whose girlfriend, you know, and it's a Filipino son or daughter, or it's both of their son or daughter. It's about 3,500 pesos a month, which is 60 bucks a month for a private school.
And do you think that's worth the investment or no?
At high school. At high school. I think
okay.
at elementary school, you need that social dynamic more than anything else. And you get a tutor on the weekends to help them out.
Okay, now this might be too close to the bone, and if you don't want to answer it, I totally get it. But does his biological father, does he play any role in your guys' life?
No,
Is he still around? Is he
somewhere in Bayawan area.
Okay.
He lives, and he doesn't acknowledge that he had a son, is what Janet tells me.
okay?
He's never been around. There's never any throwback like, oh, I'm going to call my dad. You know, there is no dad. And the father figure they have, the disciplined figure in the family, is the grandmother. She's the disciplinarian. She's the Lola. The kids all go up there. They all know Lola's got a stick if you don't do what you're told. And I keep telling them, bring me the stick home. But
I need to get me one of those.
yeah, but the father's not in the picture.
All right, so you came out here, you accomplished your goal, and would you ever entertain the idea of taking Janet back to the States?
You know, that is something that really weighs on me. I think my age is going to restrict that. We're not married yet. It is in my future. Breaking news on Paul's channel. It is something that we talk about. But that 5-year rule, and you have to be married 10 years. You know, I'm going to be almost 70. And
Yeah, we're the same age, by the way. We're both 68.
To go there for 5 years. I don't want to go live in the States for 5 years and come back here at 73, 74, even longer than that. It's going to be hard. I don't have a house that I've been renting out, so I would have to reestablish, you know, living somewhere. My Social Security would not pay for our living there, so Janet would have to work. It's a very hard thing to do. All I can do is pay her local Social Security.
Now, I've been wrestling with the same dilemma, and had 2 conversations this morning with guys overseas about it. The dynamics of taking my girlfriend, or my wife now, to America. And right now, I couldn't afford it.
No,
I mean, no matter between my Social Security and my little side hustle with YouTube, I wouldn't last a month. I mean, it's just so expensive, so much inflation. And from what I understand, the dynamics over there. I got a question for you. What do you think, here, I don't like hypotheticals, but we're going to jump ship and do one. What if you went to America with Janet, who's what, 30 some odd years? 31 years old,
Yeah.
so you're 37-year age gap.
38,
And
37, 38.
you guys are rolling through the mall together, holding hands. What do you think would be the reaction?
Oh, everybody talking behind our back. If it's Las Vegas, I think you can get away with it because Las Vegas has a larger Asian community and it's a more condensed Asian community. But everywhere else, it won't be accepted. I don't know if my family accepts Janet. You know, I haven't got any comments one way or the other about that. But no, I think it would be hard for her because it's hard for her to take. bad comments on YouTube, and she knows they're just, you know, people
well,
throwing
with the situation,
mud
it
on the
seems
wall.
like there's so much tension in America right now,
Yeah,
and
that's
there's
true.
so much aggression. Do you think that other women or men or whatever, or teenagers would actually like verbally assault you, or
Well, there's
or make
that-
a comment to you if you're
I-
just walking through and going to Applebee's, or you're walking through Target?
Yeah,
and-
I think you would hear comments. I really do. People aren't polite. I don't believe they're as polite as they used to be. Not everybody, but the ones that aren't are very vocal. You know, if they're on one side of the issue, they're very vocal. So if they didn't like it, if we jumped the line on them because I'm a senior and she's young, maybe they'll say something. I don't know, but I can't see it as being a friendly place for Janet in the long run.
Really?
Yeah, I can't see that. The language barrier, the culture shock, you know, buying meat that's pre-packed, going into a fast food restaurant and getting served in 30 seconds, not being out of stock all the time. And what would she do in a Walmart? Everything you want on one level. Don't even
Right.
have to walk up the stairs of the mall.
Right,
You know,
right.
so the shock. Plus, you got to buy a car. How much do I have to spend to?
Oh, it
to
would be
move back?
hardcore. I think that's kind of like maybe for the guys that are out there. A lot of them are like vacillating about selling their house and making the move over here and this and that. I'm almost rethinking that. That at this juncture, maybe it's a good idea to hang on to the house and rent it out, because there might be come a time in the future that you're going to want to come back in 10 years if you're doing forward thinking, or sell the house and pick up a little one that you can rent out, or a double wide or whatever, and just get some cash flow from that, and then you'll always have a base to go back to
That's right.
if you're thinking 10 years. I often think now, boy, I would love to have the opportunity to take May
Yeah.
to the States, not now, but
Right.
in the future. And wouldn't it be nice if I had a place to land?
Already had a
You
condo
know,
there or a
and-
house set.
and,
Yeah.
and a 1988 Camry or something in the driveway.
That's
It doesn't
right.
matter. There's something that rolls. Just a thought.
I tell everybody, I have a video on that. After, when you come here, don't sell everything. Don't sell your car. Don't sell your house. Find an agent that'll rent your house for you. Find a brother-in-law or brother or somebody to drive your car or take care of it. And when you're here a year, if you decide this is where you're going to stay and you're never going back, then go back home and sell everything, come in. But what if you're here 6 months and you can't stand it? You
Right.
can't stand that rooster. You can't stand that dog bark.
Right.
The girl you're with, you don't like the Filipino women. You don't like how they act, their habits, and the hygiene or whatever it is. And you want to go back. If you sold everything, everything's going to be that much more expensive in a year or 2 years. So think hard before you sell everything.
That's good advice. So your overall impression of the Philippines, obviously the love life quest has been fulfilled. For the first year, what's your take on it? I mean, what bothers you the most, or what do you like the most?
Well, you know, the dislike is what everybody dislikes, the poverty. But
Poverty.
you sort of accept it, and you help out where you can. You can't save everybody, but you can give some coins to somebody, or buy something for somebody. And I try and keep it home with her family. I just try and help out with the family.
Let's
The
touch
other
on that
thing-
for a minute.
yeah.
I'm sorry to interrupt
No.
you. But the family, going beyond the son, do you also reach out and help the extended family also?
Yeah, and there's a reason for that. When I met Janet, she's working, and she lived with her parents. It was a compound. Her whole family, there were sisters living there, brothers, all the nephews and nieces, cousins. They all came there. That was where everybody was. The father, he had a stroke, and her mother. She made 5,000 pesos a month as a housekeeper, 12 hours a day, 6 days a week. And when we talked about living together, I said, how much do you give your mom every month? She said, 2,000 pesos, 40 bucks. And so I said, we'll give him 2K every month, first of the month, no problem. And I'm going to put 3K, which is the balance of her income, in a savings account for her. We open a BDO bank account.
For Janet.
For Janet.
Okay.
And that's what I call the after, Mike. I hate for anybody to think like that, but there is a day when, this good-looking guy isn't going to be around here. And that's her not to be touched, I look at it every now and then. I don't want to see any withdrawals to help anybody. And we stayed to that. And I've even increased it a little bit because of our kick up in Social Security. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for the pay raise.
All right, so that's pretty reserved, actually.
Yes, it
You
is.
got off easy.
Very easy.
Because
And they
you
don't
hear the
ask.
horror stories of.
I do.
you
And I
know.
see the horror stories.
Yeah,
I
firsthand.
see the horror stories. I
So
see guys pounding thousands of US dollars into something that will never be theirs, but they hope it will be.
And so the future nuptials, I guess we're breaking that information. here on
Yeah,
the
it's
Blog
probably going to be in our birthday month. Janet doesn't know yet, but I've told her already. After 1 year, I always kid around Mary after a year, and she gets all giggly and happy. I think that's the one thing that'll make her complete in her life is to have a husband and be married.
Well, let me be the first to congratulate
Well,
you.
thanks. Well, we
Welcome
got to
to
let
the
her know
team.
someday. Don't tell nobody. It's a secret.
I'll just tell her to watch. I'll just tell her to watch the video. She'll find out that way.
She won't watch up.
She doesn't watch me. Who does watch me? All right, kids. That's it. That's one more time with your channel.
Mike's Philippine Retirement with Janet.
I'll throw the link in, and
Thanks, guys.
you'll be able to watch his channel and his beautiful, soon-to-be bride. All right, kids. Thanks for tuning in. We will see you in the next video.